All right. Penn State guy says very good chance Tom Allen goes to Clemson in the world now, though not definite just yet. I think he's saying what in the world.
No,
Is
in
it?
the works, in the
Oh, in
works.
the works. I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I saw his correction there now. Yeah, I don't know. Like this would be another ACC team poaching a coordinator from a Big Ten team. Again, Penn State doesn't release all of their financials, like
Yeah.
other schools do. So I don't know, but I mean, unless James Franklin just wasn't happy with the defense this year, I know there was issues with it sounds so funny. I know there was issues with the play calling because Tom Allen would get so into it that he was hard to understand over the headset. So I don't like. I don't know. I don't know if maybe there was just some stuff like that wasn't working out, and maybe James Franklin is okay with him moving on. But I mean, we both said it last year. Like Tom Allen was going to go somewhere and be a very good Big Ten defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I think he's been good this season. If I'm a Penn State fan, I don't want Tom
No.
Allen to go,
No.
especially having a third defensive coordinator in the next 3 years. Manny Diaz last year, Tom Allen this year. You
Yeah.
got to bring somebody else in. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the same thing with uh Minnesota that we were just talking about. I
okay. Penn State guy says Franklin wants Allen to stay. Okay,
yeah, I think it might be a money thing, and it's not. This is one of those things. We don't know what Miami pays. We know what Clemson pays. Clemson, in terms of public institutions, they are third out of any school uh, in terms of paying their assistants, only behind Georgia and Ohio State.
yeah,
So, if you're gonna go to an ACC school, Clemson is the school to go
yeah.
to. And like Dabo has championship pedigree. He's won 2 national championships. He won the
I mean, not
ACC this
anymore though.
year.
Does anybody actually believe Dabo can win another national championship?
I think he could
Like, okay,
catch lightning in a
of
bottle
course he
again.
can. I don't want to ever say nobody cannot. I think that's stupid when people say like, "Oh, this coach can't win it all." Obviously anybody can, but like James Franklin or Dabo Swinney, who do you think has a better chance to win a national championship? I'm going with
Dabo.
James.
Dabo.
What? You don't think?
Absolutely Dabo.
No, Franklin.
Okay, explain yourself.
No, I definitely think James Franklin. James Franklin just went to the semifinals in the playoffs. James Franklin is able to recruit. Franklin takes in transfers. James Franklin is building his program, like hiring actual assistants and actual coordinators, not just like bringing in guys from the bottom on up. Like he's going out and like actually hiring a staff behind him. Dabo has gone out and he's like, "Oh yeah, you used to be the quarterback coach. You can be offensive coordinator now." And he's done it multiple times. Like, and he doesn't take in transfer. I know he got the Purdue guy this year,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't take in transfers. Like he is very much so like just against the new age of NIL and transfer portal and everything. Please put it in the chat. Like who do you think is more likely to win a national championship going forward? Don't even think about the past. Going forward, who do you think is more likely to win a national championship? James Franklin or Dabo Swinney? Explain
I
yourself now.
so I and I agree with what you're saying. I think Franklin and Dabo are like a year apart in their evolution. Because I think James Franklin was all the things that you just said about Dabo. But I think Franklin similar, and he kind of alluded to it in his press conference for the Orange Bowl, was like they're an old school team. This is a team that people in the 70s and 80s would love, and I think he's referring to like a lot of their team had been there for a long time. And he hasn't used the portal a ton. He's used it some. I think Dabo is starting to go there, and I think if he hires Tom Allen, he's showing that he's starting to go after big name assistants. And the reality is the ACC will always be an easier path. It'll be an easier path for conference championships, which means an easier path to get automatic buys or higher seeds or automatic entry into the playoff. And Penn State's not always going to, Penn State's going to have to compete in a conference where USC might get it together and where Oregon has it together and Ohio State has it get together and Michigan's going to get it back together and yada, yada, yada. The Clemson's the big dog in the ACC, and it'll be that way for a while.
Okay. I hear you, and I hear the argument of like, what's an easier path to the playoffs? But then I also think like, what are you gonna do when you get to the playoffs, right? Like, I don't know. Like, yes, obviously, winning the ACC as Clemson is easier than winning the Big Ten as Penn State right now. But like, let's be honest though. The fourth place team in the Big Ten has a better chance of winning the playoffs than the ACC champion, just because of the way that you're able to accumulate talent and the way that you are set up with support from your conference financially and everything else. Like, yes, Clemson spends a bunch of money on their assistants, but how long is that going to last? You know? And we just talked about unstable situations. Like, you and I, when we did that Franklin video, we were both like, Franklin's not going anywhere. I know there were people that didn't hear that in the comments. I don't know, what they listened to, but like you and I were both like, Franklin's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
There are actively people in like Clemson fans that are like, fired Dabo Swinney because he won't change with the times. He won't improve. He won't get better. And Dabo Swinney is 100% the type of coach that will get into your game planning and say, like, you have to do this. We've done it this way before, so you have to do this now. And what happens if Brent Venables gets fired? Like, you think Tom Allen's going to stick around at Clemson if Brent Venables gets fired next year? Dabo's bringing him back. He'll fire Tom Allen in a second to bring Brent Venables back. I think this is a money play from Tom Allen.
Oh, sure. I think that's clear. I
think Clemson 6 years ago, clearly the better choice. But I think now you see how dysfunctional the ACC is. You see how it's possibly going to blow up. You hear people, conference insiders talking about how like nobody wants Clemson, nobody wants Florida State. Like, what's going to happen if Clemson goes independent? I know it looks really romantic with what Notre Dame has done going independent, but like people, like not just any program can do that. Notre Dame can do that because of their brand and how big they are.
Yeah,
not just any program can do that. To
Clemson,
me, I'll say one more thing. To me, the stability of Penn State is so much greater. The opportunity for a head coaching job out of Penn State's DC position is so much greater, and Franklin, to me, I won't say is so much greater, but I'll say has a slight edge of a better opportunity to win a national championship. Not conference championships. I agree with you. He will have a better chance of winning the ACC, but I think if you're top 4 in the Big Ten from here on out, you're most likely going to be in the playoffs. Just don't lose to, 5-7 Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both tenuous. But I don't know. I still would give the slight edge to Dabo. And for right now, I think honestly, if James Franklin beats Ohio State next year, I would completely flip because it would then showcase, okay, you can beat the team that's terrorized you. But he needs to beat top 5 teams at some point, and he has not been able to do that. And I know I just got done saying, hey, we got to give Penn State credit for making the semis. Dabo, yeah, I think Dabo's he's maybe over the hill in his coaching career, but I'm always a little hesitant to be like, well, he can't recapture the magic. We know that he can beat more talented rosters, and he did it in 2016 and 2018. So I think that's just my thought process there.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe this is just me, but like what has happened to Ryan Day this season at Ohio State has just like completely gotten rid of the thought process to me that like, this coach has to do this in order for me to believe it can happen. Like the way James
Mm,
Franklin runs his program, he's gonna get there eventually. To me, I believe he will. Maybe I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen him consistently beat top five programs, but I also didn't see Ryan Day consistently beat top five programs. I didn't see Ryan Day
yeah.
consistently beat big teams until Penn State and Notre Dame, which we'll see if that continues on the national championship. I think that's really funny too. But like he did, like
Hmm.
he changed, and he's won 3 playoff games in a row now. Has the opportunity to win the national championship. Is the hardest path possible. The hardest path
Yeah.
possible. There was no path in the playoffs that would have been harder than what Ohio State is going through. So I don't know. If Ryan Day can change and get rid of the narrative, I think James Franklin can too.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Do I think it'll
I
be the same level? Probably not,
Yeah.
but I think he can.
I will say I think you and Doug make a really good point that Penn State is more stable in terms of their conference position. Like I think that's not a doubt.
Yeah.
I just if you're telling me just from a coaching perspective, who has a greater chance to win a national championship, I still think it's Dabo right now. But I think if James Franklin can change the narrative, you know, great. But I want to see it. Dabo, I've seen him do it. So
Yeah. And I guess that's just the thing. Like, has the narrative changed on Dabo yet? That's the thing.
yeah.
So are we in a flux right now where Dabo's narrative is changing and James Franklin is trying to change his narrative? It's an interesting discussion. So,
Mhm.
Tom Allen, you will probably make more money out of this. Congratulations.